Hi, and welcome to our first class with Athletic Leadership Management. I'd like to introduce myself. Having had my education at Trenton State College in my undergraduate and the College of New Jersey in my graduate years, I received my master's and also did a thesis a number of years ago. About 25 years now, I've been coaching, an assistant coach, an assistant athletic director, and now an associate athletic director and head coach. Kind of give you some history and my perspective. Something I always look for is to get everybody's experiences and draw those experiences to help with teaching our course. So I've learned a lot from all the mentors and the people I've been encountered over the years, and I'll say in some cases it's what I would do in situations, and in others it's what I would never do in situations, professionally speaking. So I'm going to ask that each of you submit a 2-minute video about why you're taking this class, what your interest in sports administration is, and then the background, either whether it relates to coaching, being an athlete, or as an administrator yourself. Please make sure you become familiar with the course syllabus, the description, the objectives of the course, and knowledge standards, and then also the resources that will be available. Also, keep documentation. This will help you with building your e-portfolio for your graduate program, and we'll talk more about that in another class. The textbooks, as not a lot has been written as of yet, the discipline is a relatively new one. So we're going to use the textbook for contemporary sport management, and I have attached a link that you can pull that up and order online. And you can see, based on each week or each module, there are going to be assignments, whether they be reading from the chapter book or other assigned books, periodicals, materials, and any newspaper clippings or things that I will put together, so that way you have the ability to pull them up and use them as a resource for the course. The notes will be online, as well as any material. I ask that you check in and check in often. Please pay attention to each week's modules and assignments, and read through everything. When in doubt, ask questions. If it's on Canvas or we talk about something in our discussions, you are accountable for it. So I need you to be an active and participating student. Why don't we get into now the evolution of athletic administration? As administration is synonymous with the word management and the need for professionals in management, if we look at, historically speaking, about 98% of all first-time managers are placed into their first supervisory jobs without being trained to manage first. And the failure to train people to be professional managers is the #1 reason for management failure in the U.S. There is a shortage of competent professional managers in every type of organization or at every management level. And if we look at professional managers, they pride themselves on results. The results that they achieve and how they develop the personnel that they manage. Just as a head coach is judged on either their wins and losses or how well they develop the potential for their student athletes. And if we look in history, leadership, either managerial skills, administrative competencies, and how they're demonstrated through history. King Solomon and being the famed biblical ruler and the construction of the pyramids, or Alexander the Great and the military management skills that he possessed, or the Romans and the empire that they built, or the ancient Greeks and the 1,200 years of conducting competitive athletic events. If we use history as our perspective, then the emergence of general theories about management is a relatively recent phenomenon. Management was not even taught as an academic subject in the U.S. until about the 1920s. So emphasis prior to this was more on industrial management rather than general management. Understandably, because our country's growth and dominance as a world power was based on newly realized industrial might. So by the 1940s, collegiate schools of business were in vogue and management became a major field of study. The world of sport is one of the last major industries in the U.S. to recognize the need to train people to become management professionals, and through offering a major in sport management at the collegiate level, Ohio University was the first program in 1966 to establish a major. In 1978, there were a total of 20 sport management graduate programs in the U.S. And by 1982, the number had grown to 44 graduate and undergraduate programs. As of this year, there are 419 undergraduate schools offering some form of sport industry training and 253 master's degree programs throughout the world. The vast majority of those are in the U.S. Sport Management Program Review Council approves a program's curriculum by comparing that curriculum to a predetermined set of curricular goals. The North American Society of Sport Management maintains a list of American universities offering sport management programs and their various degree options, which include bachelor's and master's, as well as doctorate level studies. So the need for specialized administrative practice in sport, well, we need sport managers. Facilities first turned to the physical educators who were forced to become managers, not trained, and to deal with a host of unfamiliar problems. The lack of precedent and lack of appropriate training resulted in a great variance in the leadership and management of athletic programs. Soon, college presidents realized the need for uniform policies and practices and how important that played in our role, and formulating an association of colleges that would standardize practices for student athletic associations. And this action continued to trend towards specialization in management of athletics and would continue through the century. By 1905, the IAA formed forerunner to the NCAA. 1920s and 30s saw formulation of the National Federation of State High School Associations. And in the 1950s and 60s, the role of associations to expand included enforcement and punitive measures against violators. What jobs are available in the sport industry? Well, our text will break it down into three categories: the sport performance segment, the sport production segment, and the sport promotion segment. So if I look at high schools and collegiate athletic administration, or jobs in sport organizations, community recreation programs, amateur sport organizations, private clubs, sport programs in social agencies, government-funded recreational programs for either youth, adults, the elderly, arena and coliseum management, sports marketing and consulting firms, public relations and sport news media, agents, require a law degree generally, fitness centers, sporting good industry, sales. The list can go on and on. It keeps building. Contemporary intercollegiate athletic administrators, generally we're looking at either large college or universities. Associates run day-to-day operations. The AD does the fundraising, focusing on football and baseball programs, so they're larger kind of crowd-drawing programs. And then alumni relations. In a small college, overall operations may be done scheduling, transportation, officials, game operations, fundraising, risk management, safety. Secondary schools, traditionally administrator is going to be someone who's a teacher or a coach, part-time administrator, or as an assistant principal with partial responsibilities for athletics. Some states have gone to full-time ADs or even half-time teaching, half-time sport administration. If we look at administration management for professional sports, we're either looking at professional teams or leagues, sport good industries, advertising, promotions, public relations, ticket operations, merchandising operations, or concessions. If we look at leadership versus management assignment, rubric for interviewing assignment, wants you to make sure that you have the opportunity to get familiar with someone that you either are close to and work with, or maybe that you hold up as a mentor, and kind of get their views and familiarize yourselves with some of the issues that we'll be grappling in our first weeks of this course of what leadership is and what management is. Tell me how you feel they are different, maybe how they are the same, and can one individual do things in an organization? Another aspect of leadership we'll explore is the issue of trust. Stephen Covey has written a great book about the speed of trust and the 4 cores of credibility which inspire trust. It's character, intent, capabilities, and results. And Mike Collins wrote a book about leadership called Good to Great. And in that, he talks about getting the right people on the bus and then in the right seats on the bus. Woven through our conversations will be issues of ethics and morals, about whether or not there's a place for conversations about ethics and social responsibility in sport, whether we feel that is the right place. Are they taking place? And we will acknowledge perhaps not everywhere or not enough. That's all I have for this first class, and we'll see you next week.